music drops, what do you want to see?
Just a phenomenal match. I want to see these two just bounce off each other. I want to see action. I want to see it fast.
Good recovery. A little bit more seriously, as we have now a couple of minutes of time. Yesterday, we saw both BDS pulling out some unique picks. I think the Blitzcrank for Labrov was a great pick. Everybody knows Adam's champion pool. Astralis with Leader, we know they have a kind of style approach to the game. So can you make any predictions, or what do you want to see from these teams?
Yeah, I think for Astralis, definitely going towards this more early skirmish-focused team is their best bet. Astralis are a team that like to try and play off these early fights and then lean into short-range dive compositions. And one of the big things that we're actually talking to Treats backstage about was how we're kind of surprised to see them still going for things like the Varus ban or even the Jace ban that we saw yesterday, because they want to play dive, they want to play for all-in. So trying to remove things like the Gragas or the Zaya they struggled against yesterday should be their big focus. Now, the Zaya is taken off by BDS, but still have that Gragas up and available.
I mean, I was telling Treats that I was so surprised that both Zaya and Gragas were left available. Two champions that can self-peel, two champions that can disengage. And Astralis yesterday, they locked in that Kled as well as that Akali, and ultimately got outplayed by Mad Lions. Ashe is still open available, and it'll be the Sejuani locked in for BDS.
Also the Annie and the Gragas, which are the other two big ones as well. So you can actually double blast these in if you want to as Astralis, and I think definitely the Annie, an incredibly strong pick. You do get the flexibility, but again, you know, we know what Leader's champion pool is like, so more than likely when it is locked in, that he's going to be going down towards Jonghoon in the bot side, and I'm curious if they do just go immediately towards the Gragas as well, or if they want to try and take something for 113 here, like a Vi or the Wukong or something along those lines.
I mean, those 15 tools available to them. Kabi will be locking in the Zeri for now. So whether or not that's going to be Zeri, Annie in the bottom lane, or if Leader will run that in the mid remains to be seen, but already in that style. I'm going to use the word short range a little bit loosely because Zeri obviously does have that ultra shock laser, but ultimately they want to be in your face, they want to be diving forward, and the Irelia hover makes me giggle just a little. Obviously hovering that, throwing the gauntlet somewhat towards Leader. Crown will be locking the Jinx.
I like the Jinx though. Again, you just outrange Zeri in the early laning phase, you scale just as well, and there's not really a huge amount that Annie can do. Annie likes lanes if she's going into the support role where she can actually use her auto attack, land her Q as well, but not being able to get that range against the Jinx is going to make that lane a little bit more tough, especially with the Nautilus as well. That's a lot of punishing power on that bottom side.
And I'm a big fan of Labrov on those hook champions. Yesterday, his Blitzcrank was hugely influential in their win. Nautilus is a champion that he's not played this year, but is fairly comfortable on that, and 113 will be locking in that Lee Sin. I think denying that a little bit. During the BDS player intro, we saw the Lee Sin cosplay, the boxing gloves out of the mask, so denying that one instead.
Yeah, now I'm curious to see what the plan is going to be. The Olaf is going to be taken off the board here for Astralis. 75% ban rate against Adam, only going to go up with this ban as well. On the opposite side, Finn has had a lot of bans towards his Jax as well, which I wouldn't be surprised to see taken off the board too. But I think Astralis probably angling for something like the Kled for Finn in that top side, to be perfectly honest. You want something that's going to help you close the gap, especially with how short range your comp is, but also something that provides some sort of front line, because I look at how beefy the team fighting already is on BDS, and I'm kind of scared for Astralis. I
mean, that Kled, if it does come in, cannot have the performance it did yesterday. Unfortunately for Astralis, Finn was unable to find influence, unable to find impact, and the next ban will once again be a top laner, so Darius removed, denying that one to Adam. So his champion pool has been impacted here, while Akali will find herself in the ban pool too. So now for Astralis, I'm going to presume something for Finn, something a little bit safe, top laneable is the most likely option. I mean, Cassante still open, Gnar still open. Whether they blind Kled, that's another question. We'll find out in a moment.
Yeah, I think you just need something that can actually set up your team. Also an option for someone like a Sion as well. If you really want to go towards it, just provide the big front line. There it is going to be locked in. So again, now you're kind of putting the onus onto BDS to have something that can deal with this mega tank on the top side and try and be that initial engage tool for people like Jonghoon to then follow up with on this Annie.
Well, what do you think now of the Aatrox answer? And we'll find out where this Annie goes. Aatrox and Cassio to lock it in. Relatively short range from those solo laners. Obviously Jinx with the Rockets will do well, but I like the combination. You've got peel, you've got engage, you've got disengage, so a little bit of everything here from BDS.
Yeah, I think especially the Aatrox. Aatrox does well when teams want to jump in on top of him because he doesn't have to chase you down. Exactly what Astralis want to do here. And also the Cassiopeia as well, being able to put down the Miasma, keep the Lee Sin in check, keep the Zeri in check. Maybe, and if Jonghoon actually going to be the one that takes the Leona into the bot side as well. So you've got really good answers when Astralis just try and dive and get into your face. And I think this is just good adaptation from teams. Astralis had those surprise upsets against teams like G2 where they were able to play this, we go forward, no questions asked. But now teams are starting to adjust and go, okay, we'll be ready when you jump in on top of this.
Now the thing is, I do look at a team like Astralis, I look at players like Finn and Leader, and I might use the words one-dimensional, and bear with me for a moment, but as a team, as an identity, as an approach to the game, they want to be in your face, they want to be aggressive, they want to be proactive. And when you see this comp, Lee Sin, Sion, Leona, and like that signals go, go, go. But the tools that BDS have put together with the Aatrox, with the Cassio, they've got the option to peel. Now it comes down to execution.
And I agree, but I think the thing for Astralis is I don't mind if they are one-dimensional at the moment. This is a team that when you look at last bit was struggling to pick up wins, and now they're a team that's just beaten G2. This is a squad that is slowly but surely getting better, improving how they want to play. Now they're working on team fighting, and I'm more interested in the fact that they are perfecting, or at least trying to perfect this one style, and then they can start to teeter off into other ones. And for a team that has been struggling for so long, I'm still very impressed to see how far they've come in such a short period of time.
I mean, Astralis, 2 wins, 2 losses here in the spring split. They've got a little bit of history here, facing off against Team BDS in the playoffs of winter split. Both of these teams surprises, and frankly, both of these teams outshining the likes of Fnatic, of XL at times, even Rogue and Core. Let's find out what they do today as BDS take on Astralis. All right, we're on the Rift here for game 1 of day 2 of week 2 of spring split. Not a mouthful at all. Dagda, I want you to give me a little bit of expectation setting here. Do I look at 113? Do I look at this Lee Sin and go, have a bigger impact than Shio Sejuani, or what are you anticipating from the opening levels?
Yeah, I think a huge amount for 113 is just playing through Leader, playing through Jonghoon in your bot side. You have fantastic setup with Diani, you have great setup on this bottom side as well. So just trying to set up these lanes to be the late game carries is going to be your big one. Finn isn't going to have the best of times against Adam, but at least as this game goes on, he will just become that mega tank. So scale to later from Shio.
Well, going to be able to trade. This is a 3v2 for now, but look at the rest of the members of Astralis. Shio's down to 100 hit points, flashes over the wall. Not going to be chased just yet. The rest of Astralis stepping forward. Leader's got that passive charge, flash forward, knock up the snake. Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike, first point secured for Leader's Annie.
I would like to feel sorry for Duke, but the second he flashed that Fnatic logo, that's when he died. I was like, you know what? You deserve that just a little bit. But...
Oh, what does that do for the laning phase? I mean, Stopwatch already picked up here. Charging up. Leader hasn't yet back to spend, has the teleport, has the spell book. But that is a gigantic advantage. Also, when you think of the lane matchup, the Miasma, if Leader can be enabled quicker and maybe look to move around the map, drop that tippers down and get that likes of Cobby ahead as well.
And I think that's what they'll probably be angling for. Annie is going to go towards that Catalyst, the Aeon, so she should be able to get an easier reset now to pick that up early and get back into lane, which is just a really nice pickup. You can set that up, but we're just going to get a quick replay here. So Shio does actually spot out 113, but they don't realize the Finn is in the bush. Nice job by 113 and Finn to get decent damage down now. Obviously has to flash away, is that knockup could have been a death sentence for 113, but Leader, you'll see it here, just that tiny speed. I'm assuming it's water walking in the river as well, but just as he flashes, the emote manages to get picked off there.
I mean, what does this do in terms of that invade? How do you judge the invade, right? Because I think for Astralis, they were grouped up around the mid lane, potentially either for a counter, maybe didn't set up any plays themselves, but it was bold. It was a 3-man just trying to get a ward done, I presume.
It is, yeah. You want to try and spot out where 113 is, because in the early stages, Lee Sin can do a very good job of dueling the Sejuani, so you want to try and separate your clears, so then you're not running into the Lee Sin at every point in time. Then once you have a couple of levels, you can actually look for counter ganks and all that kind of stuff, especially post 6. But at the moment, it's just a case of, okay, can we figure out exactly what 113 is up to now? Don't know he's on bot side here, but Labrov already on the move towards mid.
I think that ward placement timing out just as 113 snuck past it. The observers did a great job of highlighting it dying. Leader still has flash available to him, so does Nuke. And can cheat towards the North River. Got that ward for vision. Labrov, flash. Does he go for the flash hook? That's what I'm waiting for. He's going to step forward. Flash for flash traded. Labrov for leader. That is going to be a small win and open up an opportunity.
Yeah, I think the big one there was just trying to make sure that, okay, if we can burn leader's flash, it makes it very difficult then for them to try and go for a flash setup for 113 in the mid lane. So nice job there. And I mean, Labrov as well has been so good at the moment at helping out his team. And you can see here with the stats that we just brought up, the kill participation, this guy, he's been so good when he gets towards a little bit of control on the spot side, linking up with Shio, going for invades, looking for picks in the enemy jungle, and already you can see the impact he's having in this one.
I mean, yesterday his Blitzcrank was gifted first blood kill from Advien early on, but then all the answers, all the roaming around the map has been able to find the impact, has been a big part of why BDS has picked up 3 wins out of their opening 4 games. And it is just great to see. And I think BDS, one of those teams that, again, we mentioned it during draft, surprising a little bit, continuing to develop, continuing to improve throughout the year.
The big improvement I want to see from them, though, is in that mid game. That seems to be where they're really struggling. They're good at getting these early leads, especially with Shio, as you can see already, kind of predicting where the enemy jungler is going to be, making sure you can already keep BDS in check. But it's about, hey, if they get these early leads, can they continue to push that forward into mid game? And that's a big old wave in mid lane.
Gigantic wave. Leader's already got 28 CS to his name. At least 2 waves in front of him. 113 and Shio lingering around at the bottom of your map, Carbine Junghoon, pushing into Crownie and Labrov, and then having their own little standoff. I mean, you know, on all those tier lists, you've got S rank, A rank, B rank. I think for a team like B, D, and S, I want to see what rank we give their mid game. As the engagers come out here onto Labrov, remember, flashless from that roam to the middle lane. And that was just easily set up. Junghoon knowing the summon spell was down and punishing him for being too far forward.
And this is what we're talking about for 113. The fact that you can go, okay, well, mid isn't really working out, flash is burned. All right, I'm just going to go bot side and immediately able to get that kill. So really nice job there from Astralis to set that one up.
And not only that, Dagda, Astralis have got the kill into leader, the kill into Kobe. So the pivotal members of your comp, Sion, Lee Sin, yes, they can do well with gold, but you really want the Annie and the Zeri to run away with the game, and they're in a good position for now. The only lane going the way of BDS is Adam in the top lane, plus 10 on Finn's Sion, as is to be expected, I think. But exactly what Astralis wanted to do is happening. No flash on leader. Tibbers is available to him. A 3-man setup, and Junghoon will be just a moment or 2 away. Dredgeline pulls him backwards. The passive boop. The flail forward. The Zenith blade deep onto Nuke, but now all of a sudden Junghoon's in trouble. He committed that flash just a little earlier. There's not enough damage to follow it up, and that's the first kill for BDS.
Nice job by BDS coming in on both sides with the reset coming in from Labrov. 113 now. Starting to hover around this mid lane as well. I don't think they can get much done, but really good job by BDS to again get control over this lane for Nuke.
And so important to keep track. Even though there's that kill advantage to Astralis, the CS leads, however minor, in the top and the middle lane for now, is what's keeping BDS just a little bit close in the gold. And I applaud this. 6.5 minutes in, Cloud Drake will likely be secured uncontested here. So Astralis, they get the first kill of the game. They pick up a second with a great gank there from 113 in the bottom lane. They pick up the first neutral in the Dragon. And for a team like Astralis that wants to have that go forward, that in-your-face style, they're already off to a pretty good start.
The big one, though, is making sure that they're not giving over more of these kills, because it's kind of the upside and the downside of Annie in this position is she's very good at being able to set up a play if she has her flash, but she's also incredibly vulnerable, as we already saw, if BDS are able to get Labrov involved. So I think Junghoon, unfortunately, just a little bit late on the rotation there to help out, but we'll need to keep track of where Labrov is and match a lot of these roams if he hopes to have a good time here.
I mean, I really like the first 7 minutes for Astralis, because when you look at their just a little snapshot of their early games. KD at 14 is sitting at 7th. Their goal difference at 14 is also low. But this is a team that has been either snowball-ly in their wins, or a little bit snowballed on in their defeats. So this is a good start, and also the comp really needed to have those early punches as well.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just Astralis in a nutshell. Right?
Yes.
They want to throw punches early. They want to make sure that they're actually finding these skirmishes and winning them. And I think the big example that we saw was like against Mad Lions, right? Where they tried to go for these early fights and got beaten back, and that caused them issues. Now, 113 hovering for an invade, but I think this is more to try and spot out where Shio is. The ward being hit there will give it away, though.
Yeah, and of course, look at the roam now. Junghoon and Leader already in the river. They can cut off. This is 4 members of Astralis with the ability to flank 2. Shio's got the prison available to him. 113 will be stopped despite the dive forward. Labrov has left that bottom lane, roamed up towards the mid, and with Herald just spawning up, multiple members of Astralis, they're looking for an opportunity, and Adam is going to use that Q forward. Goes down the world, Ender pulled backwards by Finn's unstoppable onslaught. Sonic Wave, resonating strike, the chains backwards, and Astralis find their third kill.
Look, a little funky towards the end, but it worked in anyway. Astralis now get the kill, and that should give them good control over this top side for Rift Herald, with Shio having used his own ultimate as well, but are going to back away for the moment, with Jonghoon still hovering here mid.
It felt a little bit like ping pong, a little bit like the old school 1980s Pong games with all the CC from Sion, from Lee Sin, from Aatrox. And ultimately, it's the kill for Astralis. Copy's gone all the way forward. He's flashed for this. Crowny's used the cleanse, used the flash. Below 100, one more shot's needed, and Copy picks up the solo kill on Zeri.
Man, Copy's making such a name for himself this year. He has been so good. Him and Jonghoon getting the 2v2 kills. Now he gets the 1v1 kill. And BDS, though, will respond. Moving up towards this top side. They already had the faster reset, so they are on towards this Rift Herald. But now Jonghoon starting to move into the spot side. He's starting to get some vision, and Labrov and Crowny not having that same success we saw yesterday.
They haven't. The one thing that Shio has just done now, as far as the early game is concerned, is pick up that Rift Herald. So that very small gold advantage that Astralis have accrued can be balanced out with a successful plate gank or successful use. The one thing I am a little nervous about already, Dag, that you said this during the draft, the way Astralis want to play this comp, go forward with the Sion, the Lee, the Leona, then let Annie and Zeri clean up. Those are the two champions that are off to a good start. 1-1 for Lido in the mid lane, 2-0 for Cobby. He's got a 1,200 gold lead, and if that Zeri is unlocked with Cleanse and Flash, it's going to be very hard to hold him in place. He can dance around a lot of the threats that BDS throw as well.
Also, a huge amount is going to be kind of a race to those 3 items for the 280 carries. The fact you're already off to a great start as Cobby means he gets to come online sooner, so he'll be able to play around leader as he gets to a 2-item spike. He'll be kind of stuck in a 2.5. So overall, you're just setting up Astralis for that stronger mid game that can lean into a bit of a late game as well.
And I think it's probably fair to say, Dagda, that it'll be a slightly more difficult job for Crowny, despite his champion being easier to play. There's a lot of threats. He needs to deal with the Lee, the Leona, the Sion to get to that back line. And right now, Astralis, they're not done yet. Dragon's Rage is used by 113 defensively. Get rid of that threat. 3 versus 4. Tippers is available. Flash forward, drop down. And the bear slap to the face sends Crowny packing. Chio is now backed up by Labrov, and 4 members running for their lives. But Astralis, they've got the kill. They've got the minion wave, conga lining its way forward. And all of this has allowed Nuke a little bit of uncontested time in that middle lane.
And that's the problem. You don't get the clean kill on the bot side, so BDS, they get one back, and now they're getting the push in towards mid lane, getting a lot of that damage down on the turret. Finn also needs to be kind of careful here. Adam hovering around.
Adam right now with a pretty significant advantage, nearly 25 CS up. Sonic Wave connects onto Nuke. I just keep waiting for the Lee Syndrome. I don't think he's going to follow that one. And while we have a brief moment, let's just talk about Adam and his early game, because I think when you look at his experience difference behind, his lane numbers behind, and I may not actually be able to build on this, so we'll come back to this. Cobby's got no flash. Shio, Prison is on cooldown. Dredgeline connects, and I think Cobby's in a lot of trouble here. We'll be able to hop over. Does Shio just linger the whole time though, Dagda?
Oh, TP coming in. They want to turn this. Jonghoon doesn't have the ult though, and it's a bit of a trek.
Oh, here comes the charge. Sion going all the way forward. Crowny is flashless. The Zenith Blade connects as well, and he's dropped. And once again, the 3rd time, the Ignite burning, and LeBron goes down too. Astralis are popping off.
BDS's bot lane doesn't exist. They've just been counterplayed every single time, and I feel bad for Crowny. I don't think he's got to play League of Legends today.
This is the exact opposite of yesterday, where that Jinx Blitzcrank was able to completely take over the game. This time around, I mean, look at this. As soon as the recall finishes, here comes the Sion.
Yeah, and the fact that you've got the setup here for Jonghoon, good Zenith Blade, immediately into the ultimate coming through from Finn, and Labrov, he already knows he's done for. That shield is such a long cooldown at these early stages.
And so that ends up being a 1,200 gold lead here for Astralis in the bottom lane, but the Rift Herald will secure the first tower in top. Is there a fight possibility? Cobby has got the bloodline available. Shio flashes to safety. Adam does have that big lead with the help of Shio, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to control these next few skirmishes, because Astralis have got that, early advantage itemization-wise for both leader and Cobby.
And it's going to be a case of seeing, okay, well, how can Leader try and set up a lot of these fights alongside Finn, kind of being that follow-up, because it is very Wombo-esque when you look towards Jonghoon, Leader, Finn, and then kind of having Kobbe lend in towards that, I'm going to be the DPS at these later stages. I think he still has a little bit of ways to go, Kobbe, before he becomes that true Zeri monster, but you can already see he's doing a fairly decent amount, apart from Finn and Adam, who are just throwing haymakers over and over.
That is just a wet noodle fight to define all wet noodle fights. Adam and Finn have been trading the entire game, hence their numbers being somewhat inflated, but I think what will be more intriguing to see play out is how on earth BDS try to contain Kobbe. 3-0-2, he's already got that 300 gold bounty, got a gigantic CS lead, he's unlocked on the map, starting to move around. And for Astralis, it's now making sure they can weaponize that advantage he's built up.
And for BDS, it's about one, obviously shutting that down.
Yes.
But two, trying to play around Nuke now. Crownie, unfortunately for him, you just got to accept that I'm not going to be a carry this game. I'm 0-3. I'm 1.7k goal behind. Let's look to turn this attention towards Nuke. So Labrov, get the hell out away from me. Start to play towards his Cassiopeia because she can now step up to provide that other damage.
The thing is as well, the miasma is going to be huge because the mobility from Lee, from Zeri, all of them can be mitigated if used effectively. But also I'm scratching my head because despite the 5-kill lead, the fact that the tower and 6 plates were picked up by BDS means they're in touching distance of gold. Nuke, that's not the petrifying gaze you were looking for. He's knocked into the wall. Here comes Shio. The prison buys some time. The solar flare won't work it out though. 1-1-3 with the backup of Jonghoon and Finn get themselves the kill. And Shio unable to save his mid laner's life. I mean, Dagda, you said play around Nuke. Astralis said, let's kill him. As Adam picks a fight that maybe he doesn't want to. 1 versus, I'm going to say 2 with Tibbers.
Oh, you did this yesterday as well.
I know I did.
The Scion, the dead Scion counts.
It counts.
Well, might need a bit more here.
Let's find out. World Ender is dropped. Leader waiting for those cooldowns, running a little bit low on mana. Umbral Chains goes out. The third Q not going to connect just yet. Stopwatch has been dropped. No support from either. And Adam picks up the solo onto Leader.
So tell me again why that's another champion. Does that count as 2?
Does not count. Does not count.
There we go.
Well, I wasn't checking. Was Tibbers actually hitting Adam or was he farming?
I wasn't looking.
I wasn't looking at that either. I was trying to track the chains, but well played. That's the one player that is significantly further ahead for BDS.
And maybe you have an opportunity then if Adam can find these big flanks to step up and be that carry, but I love how Astralis are trying to punish BDS in these side lanes. You look towards the bot side, they got on towards Nuke, and I think one of the big things that we've seen from Astralis is they're a team that loves to go, okay, we're just going to drop a side lane, play up 2 lanes and look for pick, and they're doing it again.
They are looking for Crownie. Ward Hop will at least force the flash. And the smiling bee comes out.
It was a bluff. He doesn't even have kick.
There we go.
That was so good. He gets the flash out of Crownie just because he doesn't quite have the timing down. And BDS, though, will still move up towards his top side. And you can see the bot lane, though, belongs to Astralis. That's so many words for this dragon in a minute's time.
I am so excited to see these team fights play out because with only 1,000 gold separating the teams, 8 kills to 3. And yes, Nuke and Crownie are behind. But the tools they have with the Chompers, with the Miasma, with the Petrifying Gaze, they get excited. They can mitigate that small advantage Astralis have put up. The question I'm going to ask you, Deck, is how do you want to see these team fights play out? We're a minute till Dragon. One would assume if BDS don't contest this one, they will contest the next.
I think you have to look for the next one. Your composition just isn't in a position to really try and carry, so having someone start to push in that top wave, maybe look for a tier 2, look to establish vision on the top end of the map, so you're at least getting something back. But I think in a straight up brawl, right, you don't even have a mythic complete onto Crownie yet, and you've got a Rod of Ages that's stacking onto Nuke. You don't have the damage, so unless Adam pulls a miracle play out of his back pockets.
Well, we're going to find out because it's actually Astralis looking to start the fight themselves. Finn, level 11, will start to charge up that decimating smash. Nuke is in the bottom lane, no teleport available to him. He's pushed that wave into the tower and Astralis went fishing, unable to find themselves a target. We're setting ourselves up for a fight here. Astralis is sticking around. BDS may pull the trigger, but it could be problematic.
Yeah, I don't know if BDS really want to go for this. Astralis trying to shove that wind wave in so they can move down into the vision they've already established in towards River. BDS have to walk into this blind, and with Crownie resetting, BDS are going to pull away.
Such a great call, Dagda. The observers highlighting how Astralis' vision is giving them the advantage. You'll be trading Dragon number 3 for the Herald. Thank you, Berlin. Labrov and the rest of BDS now need to back out without being caught. Jonghoon holds on to that solar flare. The tower stands. So that is actually pretty pivotal. Will slow down any of the vision progression. Is when you knock down that mid tower, you can step into the jungle a little bit more safe, a little bit more easily.
The only good news for BDS is because Crownie pretty much wins the push just because he's got the longer range and he's got the extra push as well just off of his rocket launcher. Should be able to get up and at least take a few pop shots to finish that one off. So I don't think it's the end of the world, but it will just be a little bit of a nuisance for the moment. I like that BDS though have started to establish themselves on this top side. They're giving space for Nuke to try and farm up freely, trying to keep him away from when Finn is with this Scion as well, and making sure that this Cassiope again can actually be that big carry.
It's such an interesting position because Cassio is pretty much dead even with leader Zanny. The advantage that Adam has over Finn is obviously negated by what Kobbe has over Crownie. So it comes down to execution. And I keep going back to something you mentioned about Aatrox in the draft, Agda, that Adam's Aatrox, and as a champion, you kind of want people to jump on you. You kind of want to be falling back so you can use your Qs, use the Umbral Chains to your advantage. So Adam, in potential team fights, have a lot of pressure to buy some time, create space, give Crownie the opportunity to get excited, and then use that Pow rocket launcher to dish out the AoE.
Also, if you can just find these massive flanks, they are going to be so crucial. Like, if he's able to flash in on towards Kobbe, well, there's 90% of your DPS gone in a second. So I think that's what Adam's eyes are going to be set on, is how can I get past Finn in these fights and get access to people like Kobbe.
He's got the teleport, he's got the flash, he's got the level advantage. The vision is shallow for now. Couple of wards in the river, and obviously BDS have been pushed backwards, and Astralis, they're not going to give BDS the time to breathe or the space to breathe, because again, look at this. Sieging for the mid lane, they immediately push that wave in, they secure their second tower, they've defended their own middle tower, but what I really like from Astralis here is that when they played for the objective, they grouped, they pushed the vision, they had the backup, so it wasn't a risky play.
Yeah, and I think that's where Astralis have been doing a really good job. And again, it kind of comes down to the way Astralis play. It's, hey, we're going to just very quickly shove in one lane and then just drop it. We're going to move and just play off of two lanes instead and try and catch people out, or else we just outnumber you at a position so we can take a tower. And I mean, Finn's doing a great example of it now, right? He pushed in bot, immediately rotates in towards mid lane, and they're just trying to play off of one side of the map and catch people out.
And we saw there, Kobbe just catching that wave mid. He's down 2 levels. He's up 2 levels over Crownie. BDS, they're playing the baiting game for now. Adam's TP is available. He's in the bottom lane. 1, 2, 3. That's all 5 members of Astralis making their way up top, just sniffing out the Baron pit, trying to figure out where is BDS. Like, WTF? What are they doing? They've not shown on vision. They're not showing in the waves just yet. So Astralis playing this one cautiously, making sure they check out the pit, making sure they're not going to be caught in a burger flip situation.
At the moment, it just means that they're not really getting much done on the map, though, because Scion has now moved back into bot side. I think they were just holding in case Astralis tried to go for some sort of, sneaky Baron play or anything like that, but Astralis already have 3 dragons. They don't need to try and force anything overly quickly. They've dragon up in a minute and a half, so if you just end up going, right, let's use the fact that, again, BDS are putting all their focus on top side to, again, just set up a nice little bit of vision. And if you look at the mini-map as well, like, it's in a really good spot for them right now. Like, you have all this vision that's already been established. There's even one that was just cleared out there, but you can just start to then push forward, re-establish that vision off of this reset, and make it really difficult now for BDS to control their own side of the map.
I mean, do you think Astralis have that sense the game is as close as it is? 700 gold, 8 kills, they've got 3 dragons. Like, it almost feels to me like Astralis should be further ahead, but, but they're not really, because of the great work that Adam and Shio have done, the towers they secured. Like, that has been so impactful in maintaining, like, not allowing that lead to balloon even further.
Yeah, I think the big problem, though, is what we've been talking about this entire split is just top lane isn't very relevant in the grand scheme of things.
Adam wishes to send his regards, my friend.
Well, we'll see if he can do it this game, all right? But it does feel like if you're giving me the opportunity for hey, I've got an Aatrox that's 1,000 ahead, or I've got a Zeri that's 1.8k ahead, I'll take the Zeri every day of the week.
And not only that, not only is it 1.8k, it's also a Navori Quick Blades and a completed Bloodline in comparison to just the Kraken Slayer. So for this next Dragon fight, 30 seconds, this is also for the soul. You really don't want to give over a Hextech soul to a champion like Zeri. Even Lee Sin is going to be chucking out those autos. Vision is set up, it's been challenged by BDS, and this is going to be a very important fight.
Especially with all the flashes that are available on Astralis. Leader has the flash engage. Can he try and go for it? Even 113 as well. This is going to be a big one.
Oh, Finn charged up the Decimating Smash. Didn't find the target. Shio's Prison's available, level 11 as well. Blast Cone's been used. Dragon has just spawned. No skill shots landing yet. Adam looking for that flank. Adam wants to find Kobbe. Adam wants to stop Cobby from using that burst fire, prevent him from using the gold advantage.
Keep your eyes on Leader, though. He hasn't been spotted. This is the problem with BDS coming in blind. He's been hiding around the corner, and they have no idea. Just now spotted by Labrov.
Oh my word, Leader wants to drop the titty, wants to drop the fire, wants to push forward. That's Younghoon managing to find this enemy. Oh, comes out. Astralis have found the engage. They found the kill onto Shield before he can throw the prison, but it's at the cost of Younghoon's life. And with Nuke dropping as well, Astralis have the advantage. Cobby remains untouched, trying to take down Adam. Adam is trying to kill 113. So far to fight on multiple fronts, but Cobby remains untouched for now.
No
Adam
way.
gets the heal, forces the flash, but there's too many members alive. Dashing away to safety, and Cobby wants to clean it all up. Step just on top of the Flame Chompers, and the fight goes to Astralis.
They were some very warm regards from Adam, but just about Cobby's able to keep himself alive, and Astralis will get the dragon.
You told me top laners did not matter.
Who won the fight? Who won the fight? Who won the fight? All right? Who won the fight?
Man, the weight was too heavy to bear. No ways this happens here. Finn will Cobby inside the pit. Crowny, Omega Death Rocket available, is trying to find that zap angle. No way. No way, not gonna happen. His body blocked there, and Soul is secured by Astralis. They win the fight, but man, that was so close, Dagda.
I'm not gonna lie, if Cobby hadn't flashed that last hit from the Aatrox, probably would have been down, but Nuke ends up getting caught out here and immediately blown up. The Miasma is doing some work, but really not enough. No. Doesn't get the ultimate off till a very late stage where he's already essentially dead. And as we said, Crowny just doesn't have the damage to carry, but it is Adam who flashes forward.
I mean, Crowny's rockets were huge in burning them off, but this was the play you just talked about. The flash from Cobby keeping him alive.
Yeah, I mean, great job by going in, but you see there, just dodging the Q3, which means that now he's able to follow Finn. Crowny definitely doesn't have the damage to get through that Scion right now, but that was a hair's breadth away from going towards BDS.
That fight, I missed the fact that Crowny was so far away. His Pow rockets were just slamming again and again and again. That allowed them to be, I think it was a 4-for-3 in the end. We come straight out of that into another fight in the river. Younghoon throws up a solar flare. All of a sudden here comes Finn. Unstoppable onslaught forward. Crowny's trying to use the Hurricane as well as those rockets, but it's Labrov dropped inside the jungle. Nuke has arrived in a 5 versus 4. They've got to be so careful. They've got no Glacial Prison available to them. 113 have got control. They've got the Soul. That lead again, close in gold, but it feels much wider in combat power.
Yeah, especially when Astralis, they're able to very quickly close the distance onto them. Unfortunately, Labrov just taking that step too far forward and getting caught out. Now with the numbers advantage, they're pushing into this top side. Finn is in mid if BDS feel like they want to make things spicy.
Well, will he make a play? That's the question. We'll take some time. Teleport is available for Finn. The tower stands. It's only 2 towers to 1. But 19 kills and 4 dragons at the 25-minute mark. The thing is, the slightly invisible power of that Hextech Soul will be pivotal and could be beneficial. The tower will drop. Hold that thought, Dag. That looks like another engage being set up.
Yeah, BDS try to see if they can get in on top of it. The problem, though, is because you have so long to still wait if you can try and close out this game. Because the towers haven't been taken, you're definitely going to see this Elder Dragon end up being a pivotal part as well. And I think at that stage, you may, if you are BDS, be able to get an Infinity Age on towards Crowny, which could make such a big difference in these team fights. A 3-item Jinx versus a 2.5 is a monumental difference.
And also, the amount of damage that Cobby's taken out. I mean, look at that wet noodles between the 2 top laners. Adam obviously having a huge impact in the team fights. I don't want to disregard the damage he's dealt, but more importantly for me, the last time we looked at this, Cobby was, 3,000-4,000. The team fights have gone his way. He's 5-0-5, 3 items completed. Hurricane now to back up the Quick Blades. And Dagda, I'm going to ask you to give me a little bit of a prediction. How do you think Astralis, their mid-game, their team fights have been? The team fights now have been relatively favored for Astralis, but they haven't been exactly dominant.
No, they've been doing a good job of trying to play around their vision and get things set up, but I think the last fight was a bit of a wake-up call for them about how much damage Adam can do. So as long as they are able to peel Adam and fight front to back, they should be relatively fine with Leader, at least trying to find the flank, which he has now.
No flashes for Nuke, for Crowny, Shio or Adam. They've got to push into the pit. Leader. No flash either. TP and heal right now for his spellbook. Baron's down to 4,000. All 5 members of BDS stepping for. Flame Choppers have been used. Super Mega Death Rocket is available. Copy's going to hop over the wall, turn to Adam and drop him where he stands. Jonghoon will be the first target for Crowny, who gets excited. Both ADs on the board. Baron's down to 3,000.
Wait a second.
BDS will be able to pick it up. It's Crowny that secures it. The Mega Death Rocket not going to be able to pick up the kill. And just like that, BDS steal the Baron.
They left the Baron at 3k HP.
What?
BDS were like, grand, this is awesome. We'll just take this. Thank you very very much. And they managed to get away. Adam just brushed his shoulders off and says, thanks, that's another one for me.
You are inside a European fiesta, and I love it. So Sol for Astralis, Baron for BDS, and I have no idea who I think is in control of this game.
Well, the big one was Astralis up until this point were. I was about to say they do a great job, they're playing around vision, they turn on towards the Aatrox here as well. But the second they all leave the pit, well, now it's a 2v4 that your two carries can't get into. So BDS are like, great, Nuke and Crowny get to force people down, they kill off Jonghoon. 113 now has to go for the steal because of the positioning errors that they went for. It's very messy, so it's 1-for-1.
Listen,
the bar goes cross.
I know you're new here, Dagda, but for any of our longer-term fans, longer-term viewers, anybody who might remember Zanzara playing for Astralis, if there was one team that we can trust to flip a Baron, to burger flip, it's going to be Astralis. They flipped up, and it came up on heads for BDS. But that doesn't really change the state of the game. It still feels Astralis control. The Baron will buy some time. It's a minute until Elder. That is the pivotal moment for me.
Exactly, and that's what the Baron should help with is, okay, we can keep our waves in check a little bit easier because we've got that Baron push. And as long as we can keep ourselves pushing in towards mid, we can then look to actually contest a lot of this vision. Make sure that Astralis aren't getting that same vision that they've had at both Baron and the last Dragons.
That's so important. Reminder, this is going to be the 5th game of the spring splits. Tomorrow's 6, and there's only 3 more. Top 8 advance to groups. Astralis looking to pick up a win here, sit at 3-2, be in the race with Vitality, with SK. BDS, on the other hand, they want to go 4-1. They want to put a little bit of distance between them and the seeds below them. BDS, Baron and Powered Siege, 30 seconds on that Elder. Look at the minimap. Look at the minimap. We've got split push here.
BDS win this, though. They have so many more members. We almost have the damage there from Crowny as well. Like, you don't win this. This is Baron powered minions.
Now the thing is, Astralis may want to look to fight. All right, Baron Siege is going on. Super minions now in the middle lane. BDS want to escape with their life. Recalls being channeled here. 10 seconds for Elder. Dagda is very disappointed in Astralis' call.
Because now they're got to try and fight their way back through the vision. BDS get to set themselves up as they go through here. They've already got a ton of wards down. And now Astralis are going to be in full vision as they try to move in. Jonghoon and 113 might even be caught. TP coming through from Finn onto the bot side.
Cue the Bane voice. You're not locked inside here with me. I don't know what it is. BDS now. They're in
Darkness.
That's it. All right, 5 members of Astralis stepping forward. The Elder's been started. Jonghoon's got Flash, got Solar Flare. He's got the Hex Gate as well. Hops over the wall. Setting up. Adam not going to dash yet. He's level 16, by the way. Elder Dragon's down at 10,000. 5 members just standing toe-to-toe. Dredge line catches on the side. Unstoppable onslaughts out. The old shot's fired too. All of a sudden, it's a melee inside the river. 113's running for his life, but BDS are dropped so incredibly low. Elder has reset, and nobody's dropped yet.
Kobe's so low, though.
Oh, look at the damage. Rockets firing out from Crowny. His mana bar's so important. Conceding the Elder Drake. Astralis flipped it at Baron. Astralis lost it in the Elder Pit. There's no ways they just picked this one up completely uncontested. It seems to be the case.
113 looks like he's still hovering around, wants to see if he can make the hero play. Doesn't know, though. I don't think he yet. There's one ward in there. Can he try and get in? No, he's going to back away. BDS, they are managing to claw this game back.
What is this game? Okay, so Baron is timed out. With the Elder and with Crowny now likely able to pick up that 3rd item in just a moment, is this buff going to be enough for them to set up a final fight? That's the question. Just buying a lot of time on this one, trying to stagger it. I have that Elder available for the potential Baron fight. I think that is next level.
That's so incredibly smart. BDS playing this really well. You're getting those resets now coming in. And again, as you say, the longer they have it until this Baron's up, it makes it very easy for them to fall back onto that objective. But really great team fight from them there.
I want you to gather your thoughts on a scale of B, D, or S. How have BDS's mid-game been? While you think about that, Berlin, do you think BDS will win this game?
Oh, that took a while.
Not the most convincing. Berlin, do you think Astralis will win this game?
Okay.
That is shocking. Okay, so on that scale, as we set up for this next fight, what do you make of this, Dagda?
I mean, this is kind of tough. Elder Dragon definitely skews things very heavily in favor of BDS. Even the fact you've got these 2 late game carries coming in now with both the Jinx and the Cassiopeia, they get to free fire in team fights as long as they're able to set them up correctly. And this is where now, although Finn is a mega tank in the front line, Leader just isn't providing as much damage. They need to blow up Nuke or Crowny at the start of these fights.
And of course, keep in mind now that Copy's got that Bloodthirst of 4 items completed. What I love, and I want to thank Berlin for this, after asking the question, there's a lot of chatter and there's a lot of energy in in the room, because that Elder, I think, has allowed some level of control to BDS, but it hasn't given them the advantage, so to speak, which is why I think the local audience here is leaning a little bit to Astralis.
Well, this is the thing. You've now got to try and get on towards Crownie, Flash, Cleanse. You've got to get on Nuke, Flash, Stopwatch for Crownie as well. You have to try and blow these guys up, but it's so hard with how they're playing.
And I will say that unless Copy completely decimates BDS, I just don't think Astralis' comp has the damage. I, right now, think BDS are more likely to win this game. They've got the tools to do so. They will back away, push that wave up top. 6 towers to 5. It's 10 seconds to Baron, and they're setting up the vision.
And what a beautiful revenge this would be for BDS. Astralis knocks them out in playoffs from Winter, and now in the regular season, they're going to see if they can try and right those wrongs. Baron is up and available. BDS immediately turn towards
it. Has been started. Hex Flash available for Younghood. Solar Flare as well. No flash for Leader, so that means the flash tip is not there. Blast Cone has been popped. Baron is going very low. Cassio as well as Jinx will burn this. His Bow Power is not used just yet. Waiting for it, looking for the steal. Sonic Wave connects on the Shio, 3,000 hit points. Are we going to flip this back the other way? Decimating Smash catches onto Shio. It's secured by BDS, and 113 is already taken down. 4 members of Astralis running for their lives. Leader may need to use that Tibbers to keep himself up. Shio trying to look for that flank opportunity. The bear is inside the jungle. The teleport is being caught. And here comes Shio with Kobe caught. Cleanse available to him. Flash up as well. Leader's still trying to throw the spells down, but it simply doesn't matter. Nuke and Crownie spitting out the DBS. And it's BDS acing Astralis.
They bring out the S+ team fights, and BDS with the triple kill for Crownie. Finding that success in the late game, they will take this control.
On a scale of BD or S, it is S all the way. BDS take down Astralis and go 4-1 in spring. What a wild ride.
That was an emotional roller coaster that I am so here for. That was beautiful. The fact that Crownie as well in the end couldn't quite get control in the early stages, manages to bring it back and draw out to these later fights. And eventually the Cassiopeia and the Jinx, just too much frontline damage coming through from those late game carries for Finn to really deal with, and the rest of Astralis to deal with.
And I think so important to highlight, Adam bought enough time on that Aatrox in those team fights to allow Crownie to become relevant. I think Crownie's positioning also needs to be applauded. He used the range on Jinx to perfection in those Elder and Baron fights.
And even when you look at Nuke as well, a huge amount of this in the early stages was them trying to dive onto this Cassiopeia, but managing to stay alive, obviously having the